Oh, 100%. 100%. My frontal lobe knew that this was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was really never going to invest in the book, the coaching, pouring myself into other people, sending the elevator back down. I was never going to have enough energy with that as a baseline. I knew it. I knew it, but it was so hard.
Now you're going on to the next step of your life, but I want to back up a little bit and talk about health. So, a quick backstory on me. I was relatively healthy most of my life. I come from a very, very brutal background. And so I grew up tough, but started my own business at 28. And at 38, I got hit with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I had sat dormant in me. And at 38, it decided to grow. And I have a 40% block in my left ventricle out of nowhere. So over the next 15 years, I, of course, abused myself and my health is starting to get worse and worse. I'm on 19 drugs a day. I broke my back when I was 19 years old. So I had a 25-year opioid addiction. And November 21st of 21, I was laying in a hospital down 4 pints of blood in the emergency room dying. And I decided I wasn't going to die. And I've done all these things and, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, been very successful in business, but I was dying. And for me, I said, no, I don't have grandkids yet. I'm not going out this way. Like I'm not going to have, I didn't have grandparents. I'm not going out this way. And so for me, I changed January 1st, 2022. I lost 110 pounds in 8.5 months. And for me, again, I broke back. I quit all my opioids. I mean, I quit everything cold turkey. I take one medicine now today for my heart. That's it. 30 pounds of muscle. I've never felt healthier at 57 years old than I do right now. My whole point in saying all that isn't to brag. It's to say that I learned that you can be successful in other things, absolutely, regardless of what kind of shape you are in or what your health is. I'll use that more broadly. But the reality is that success in however you deem success for me is downstream of my health. And all of those other things are so much easier having gone. That's why I described what I've gone through to give it perspective, are so much easier because it starts with my health. So I think everything is downstream of health, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of those things. And that has been a really neat awakening for me as I've gotten older. I feel younger. So with that context, the question in all of this is, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I feel exactly the same. And, my path is not as dramatic, I'd like to say. I lost 50 pounds that I've struggled with my entire life. How many times have I lost that 50 pounds? More than I can count. No, but this time it's been successful, right? Because until you find the systems, whatever those systems are that works for you, it has to be sustainable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the day that I embarked on a health journey and a business journey at the same time, when I told myself I'm never paying another dollar for a business coach, I'm done. I was 2 months post Ironman attempt, couldn't make it. Like I said, I was 50 pounds heavier. It's just, I've battled food addiction my entire life. And I know people will say you can't be addicted to food. Listen, let's just say my brain has been taken up by a lot of that for many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
and 45 plus. And so that journey started for me July 4th, 2022, which was my Independence Day. And from that day on, people see me now and they're like, but you did Ironmans. I'm like, yes, I've done an Ironman anywhere between 120 and 160 pounds. And I'll tell you which one's easier at 5'4".
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And everything is better with bandwidth. And I talk about it incessantly in my book, annoyingly in my book, because when I was trying to figure out how to monetize my coaching in a world where I could really help people, like in my profession, my big boss came in one morning and he was working a shift. And I'll never forget, he said to me, the only way to stay in emergency medicine long term is to go part time. Because I told him, I know I could be a better doctor if I just had more bandwidth. And I never connected that to my health, right? Because like you said, I was sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day. I was working out most days of the week. I was doing the things. I was trying. I don't like the word because trying is asking for credit for failure. I could not override my biology and maintain a long-term, clean, appropriately sized food intake. Just data driven. Let's just go completely data. And I could not maintain it long term. You can call me a moral failure all you'd like. I'm okay with it. I don't care because now I'm succeeding. And what I realize is that eventually it will come back to health. I mean, it's a flywheel, right? It's like a roundabout in London. There's a lot of places to get on, but you're going to go through health one way or the other.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, that's really good. Along those lines for me, I carried all my weight out front.
Mhm.
So I hadn't seen my shoes in God knows how long. And I did carnivore. I have no allegiance to any way of eating other than I thought, what can I do successfully? And I was like, well, I can eat eggs and I can eat steak. I like all of those things. And so I was like, I can't eat, crackers or rice this or any of that. I don't, that's just not sustainable for me. So everyone can tell me what I should eat. But if I'm still 100 pounds overweight, it's not doing me any good, right?
Right.
And so in that context, I did the carnivore diet, and I remember I stood up on day 9, and I was like, I can't do it. It was January 10th, day 9, and I was like, I can't do it. I'm not going to make it. I got to go eat whatever's in the kitchen. And as I stood up, I couldn't see my feet, and I looked down, and I realized, oh, I have this huge gas tank in front of me. I have
Yeah.
all of the energy that I need. How am I hungry? And I realized I wasn't fighting the gas tank. I wasn't fighting the belly. To your point, I was fighting up here, and I had to learn how to fight that brain. And I think that's an important lesson for people, that it's not your body that you're fighting. It's your brain that you're fighting. And you said that a few minutes ago, I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but expand on that a little bit. Let's flesh that out a little bit. How important it is to realize the body's there. As an Ironman, you understand the body's there, and it's going to do what you tell it. It's here where you fail.
And I think although they're connected 100%, we ignore the fact that your brain is the driver. I mean, I always joke that if my frontal lobe was driving the bus, we wouldn't be in this predicament.
Mm-hmm.
It's the brainstem, it's those hunger drives. I was put on my first diet at age 1. My doctor told my mom, "You got to take her off whole milk. She won't stop eating." Now, that tells me I don't think I obviously, well, it was a coping skill of sorts, but I didn't have the cognitive ability to change that. So
Mm-hmm.
your frontal lobe's not really developed when you're 12 months old. So when you think about that, it reminds us that even though it's your brain, it's still biology. And if the signals and pathways are messed up in your brain, like any other, I mean, like you've conquered opioid addiction, which is absolutely incredible. That predilection will always be there. Those neural highways, they're paved, they're there. You fall back in, the elevator doesn't stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we think about this, we have to remember it is biology. So if you have to find whatever system it is for you that makes you not do the thing that's going to bring you back into that pit.
For me, it was, again, I had no aunts or uncles or grandparents or any of those things in a Lord of the Flies existence as a child. And so I was committed when I had children starting at 28. They were not going to have the life I did. That's what pushed me into entrepreneurship and all of those things. So as I was dying at 52, 51, 52, and I have unborn grandchildren, I was like, no, I'm going to watch them graduate. So from high school and college. And I have this heart issue. I got work to do. And so for me, that became the catalyst, absolutely the battle cry for me. And everything that I did was about getting to where my unborn grandchildren are going to graduate from college. So I had something that I've pointed to, and I'm pointing to here now, it's been 5 years, to you, saying that was really every day. I was like, no, don't eat that food. Every day, go for a walk. Every day, push through the pain. Every day, because I'm going to be a grandparent the same way I said to myself I was going to be a parent. So I had something visceral over and above anything else to really live for, if you will, not to be too dramatic.
Mhm.
Is that coming the kind of the road to Damascus moment that most people need?
I don't think that moment works for most people from
Mm-hmm.
what I've seen in the ER.
Okay.
When you say you couldn't see your toes, I call that a CPR belly because you're going to see that coming in, bouncing
Yeah.
up and down one of these days.
Right. Yeah.
And, I always said, I see people, I saw things that people shouldn't see, normal people shouldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell people, again, like ERs would be out of business. No, they wouldn't be. There's always plenty of business. But I don't think an event like that works for everybody. Unfortunately, even the identity shift that you had, I mean, it was remarkable that you committed to taking that and making it your identity. No, I am a grandparent. And guess what? Not there yet. Gotta live till tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that made you check the boxes, do the things. Those are systems, right? And, my husband's a lot the same way. I did not have the willpower to do it. I'll be 100% honest.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if people, I started my business by accident because July 4th, 2022, I started Manjaro.
Mm.
Bad press galore. Here we go. Ruined it for a lot of people, which I really find disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm sorry, just let me interrupt you 1 second, just to flesh that out a second. It comes up all the time. You're saying that in the context, one of the examples I use is if you have to lose 100 pounds on an all sugar diet, I think you should go do it, because being 100 pounds less is healthier than being on an all sugar diet at 300 pounds. Is that
Correct.
kind of your context? If there is side effects to Manjaro, it's better to be down the weight?
Yes. Every day you spend not getting healthier is a day you spend getting sicker.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make
No, I
sure
think
that
that's
I
perfect
understood what you were saying there.
like you said, you have this gas tank and it's full.
Mm-hmm.
But see, here's the problem when you have all that excess adipose tissue, to maybe dive a little too deep, more than you'd like, into this health part. When you have excess adipose tissue, it affects the way you think. It affects the way your body works. It becomes its own endocrine organ and starts secreting chemicals and hormones that change the way your brain works, the way your gut works. You will not win unless something drastically changes. And if you don't have the capability to do that, you need to use whatever tools are available. And when people are worried about side effects, for example, like you said, there are 13 obesity-related cancers. And I'm not just talking, this isn't about the obesity, because when I tell you my story about the day I took it, you're going to be like, what? So, because I didn't lose an ounce, but 8 hours after I took the medication, my brain was quiet. And I didn't even realize it was loud.
Oh, almost. So the benefit that you were anticipating helped change that mindset.
Yes.
Oh, fascinating.
So, and it's not, because what it does is yes, it does change the way your gut works, blah, 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 has side effects, works with the pancreas, works with insulin. We can call it, like, we can dissect it out into black and white. But what it does is it brings your brain back to the signals that everyone else already talked about. Oh, you need to intuitively eat. Well, I'm going to intuitively eat a pan of brownies.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I love brownies.
right?
God, I love brownies with the chocolate, the frosting on them. They're so the corner cut out. It's
I was
so
going to say it's got to be the corner.
Oh, it's so good. I had a pan that was, have you seen these pans that's nothing but corners?
No.
Oh, yeah. So it's a brownie pan. My wife got it for me for Christmas years ago. It's a brownie pan. And it's in, like, those things they use for dogs so they can't just eat all the food at one time. But we just went around like a maze, and it literally cooked all corners.
All corners.
Oh,
nice.
So, yeah. So sorry. I digressed.
No, but that's an important digression, because exactly, like, our brains are wired for that. And as a human brain, it is, right? We have a reward system. Our brains want us to keep us alive and procreating.
Yes.
We have a happiness drive. And what's the fastest way to get happiness if you're out in a social situation? It's either eating or drinking. Those are the two that'll get you.
Yes.
Because those are socially acceptable.
To your point about, I call it an organism. You described it much better than I do, but for a layman's term, I always said I had big people carrying all that weight don't understand you had another organism. I have a very visceral example of that. Since 2017, I have been hospitalized 71 times. I had AFib, 245 beats a minute that would last for days. They couldn't stop it. Had multiple heart surgeries at time to get it stopped. I have been cardioverted dozens of times. I've been cardioverted twice in one night, 3 times. When I had, it went away. So all of that, all of the meds, and I mean massive amount of drugs, hundreds of milligrams every day. When I lost all of the weight so quickly, all of a sudden I'm not going, this is since 2017, I've been hospitalized that many times, either ER or directly into the hospital.
Wow.
And as I lost all of the weight, I started cutting back the medicine in half. And then in half again. And within 10 months, being down 110 pounds, and I started lifting weights, and now I'm walking 4 miles where I couldn't even walk a quarter mile on the first day. My health changed so significantly that I literally didn't need the meds anymore. So I came off almost all, I kept doing blood thinner, all of my meds, AFib returned in March of last year, came back with a vengeance, put me in the hospital 10 times. I had another ablation, and this time it worked. But here was the critical part. In those 10 times that I went in, I was cardioverted 3 of them. All cardioversions worked. And we quit doing cardioversions because I was too fat. And thank God I had the best. I know them very well here at Williamson County, here in Tennessee. I had a ER doctor, and she said, just let me try to cardiovert you. You've lost all this weight. You've put on all this muscle. And I never even thought about that. I'm telling you what, somebody who lays in the hospital and they fill you full of diltiazem chemicals, then they just keep ramping it up to try to get maybe amiodarone, and they're doing all via IV, and it just wipes you out. Being cardioverted and going home is a fantastic outcome. And a long-winded way of saying, to your point, I literally changed my entire physiology. Everything, medical treatments that did not work on me before were now working on me just like that at much lower levels. It was, I was more human, and I could just go home.
Yes.
It worked wonderfully. So to your point, I don't want it lost on people that it's another organism. I'm carrying another body around when you have that kind of weight.